have we been today? Today I thought it was a good day to have another chat. A good day to reach out. A good day for us to come together and listen to one another as we try to unpack what it is that's gone on for us today, for us this week, for us the last month. We can look back, we could choose to look back as far back as we want to. The choice is ours. As long as we're doing that to make changes. The reason I say this is because sometimes we get caught up in our period of reflection that we don't know how to remove ourselves or unburden ourselves from the paralysis that we then face as a result of going back. As we lay in bed today, let's do this. Let's give ourselves permission to go to wherever or whatever point that we felt was a trigger for why we feel we are in the position we're in right now. But rather than blame, casting for that moment, how about if we try and understand? We go in with a different perception, with a different perspective, with a different lens. We go in to understand why that was a trigger. Today, we can't sleep. Why? Just like a child, we were inquisitive when we were first born. When we don't understand something, we ask questions. We want to understand because we are curious and want to learn. The world was fascinating. The world was, to us, a place of knowledge, and the only way we can learn is to ask. But then when we're faced by people that are not willing to share those information, we feel disappointed, feel let down, and we feel defeated. But like a child, we don't let that beat us. We still continue to ask. I think you realize that what eventually happens is that as we grow through the different developmental stages, we begin to approach life from a different viewpoint, either because we've had enough of being beaten up so much by constant no's or why are you asking that question for? that child in us completely disappears, or we just put that child away, when in reality we need that child, because we can only go through life by consistently being inquisitive. Things are hard right now. Why? Does that mean we need to completely give up? Of course not. But how do we make sure that we continue to keep going? By knowing that with every difficulty, there is an opportunity for growth. Let's take this as a moment that we can sit back and dream. What is that one thing that if we could change it, that we would like to change? For now, it doesn't matter what we believe, our current situation is stopping us from doing. That doesn't count right now. We just need to just sit back and just think. If we could change one thing, what would that one thing be? Knowing that there is always possibilities. Knowing that the possibilities are endless. What would that be? You've got one chance at this. What would you change? And I think maybe realizing that we are the answers to a lot of the things that we are faced with. How today has gone. How you're struggling to sleep right now. What is it that you can do to help? You're listening to this because you're looking for answers. But the answer is in you, and you've activated something. That something is kicked in with that childlike curiosity. I want to sleep, so I need to try something else. I need to listen to this, or I need to listen to that. Just like you're looking for that with this, it also applies with everything else. Our exams, our workplace, our relationship with other people, the way people view us, the way we view people, what we're willing to accept, what we're willing to allow people get away with when it comes to interacting with us. If we're willing for somebody to treat us like we are worthless, or we're actually worth more. What would that change be? You're not a victim. You're not worthless. Sometimes the answers we look for are right in front of our eyes. I haven't quite made it yet, but What does making it look like? And what is it that you're trying to make? Every single person has a different definition of what they want out of life. What is yours? Because my friend did it, I want to know. How about if that's not designed for you? How about if that is taking you away from what exactly you're meant to be doing? As you sleep tonight, we're going with a clear head. With a clear head because we've gone back in time to the moment where it all started. When was that time that you stopped being able to sleep? And why was that? Was it when they were not around anymore? Was it when all the stress of learning and taking on everybody else's struggles kicked in and it felt so difficult because you're just one person? Was it when you forgot to forgive yourself for that mistake? Was it for something that you did that you're ashamed to talk about? And you feel the only way you can overcome it is to beat yourself up. None of this are dismissible. None of this are illogical. None of this are unrealistic. However, do we think that it's gone on long enough? And who's benefiting from all of that? If you're going to forgive somebody else, you're going to need to be able to forgive yourself. It starts with you. And it's going to mean a whole new outlook on the way you see you. Because the minute you forgive yourself, it means you're giving yourself permission to move forward. And like a car, the minute you set the destination you want to get to, you need to put it into gear and you're going to need to start driving. And regardless of what obstacles you meet along the way, you're going to need to keep going. That could be traffic. And the traffic in our lives could be somebody else trying to remind you of that time. That's a traffic, that's a huddle. And we're going to need to go, yeah, I get that. But I'm not that person anymore. I've not dealt with that. Sometimes the traffic is going to be an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 days. But you're going to need to keep driving. Sometimes you might need to take a detour, turn right, turn left, because there are going to be some people along the way that we're just not prepared to talk to just yet. The detour could be that we are not ready to answer those phone calls just yet. The detour might be we're not ready to hang out just yet because we're at the early stages of taking that leap into the new direction that we're trying to go. So we're going to turn right and we're going to turn left. We're going to continue going like everything else is not going to stop us now because we've already started this journey. We're going to carry on driving and driving. And sometimes maybe we need to come off and take the train. Taking the train means that we are relying on somebody else sometimes to help us out. That one person that will never judge you. That one person that would say, I've got you. That one person that would say, it's okay to cry. It is okay to sit here in silence whilst you listen to your music or your podcast. I am just going to be here and ask you no questions. And when we get to the next destination, where we need to continue walking, we're going to walk that. And now we're walking. And walking means that we're going to be vulnerable. We're going to be raw. We're vulnerable because we don't know who we're going to come across. We're vulnerable because we don't know who is potentially going to walk into us. But that's okay, because we have got this. We've got this because we know and have accepted there's going to be a difficult ride. But we're not going to go back now. Like a child, we're resilient. And being told no has never stopped us from asking questions. That's always been the beauty in childhood. We are put through different struggles and challenges in life, and we keep going. It helps us to build the resilience that we now have. And that's what armor we've got on. It doesn't mean we're not going to hit potholes. It doesn't mean that the storm's not going to come down. But that's okay. We're going to continue. We do not fail until we lose sight of where we're going and give up. But we're not giving up now, are we? Because we're going to continue. Our end goal is that destination that we've set ourselves. And for every single one of us, our destination is different. I want to complete a college degree. I want to rebuild my relationship with my family. I want to be a teacher. I want to secure that job with that firm. I want. What is it that we are doing to prepare ourselves for those things that we want? What we are doing is taking that step, taking that drive towards that. Sometimes the program is a year, sometimes the program is 2 years, other times it's 3 years, sometimes it's 7 years. But the end goal is what's driving us. Remember when you were a child and you're being told you have to go to school and you never quite understood why you needed to, because you can't see why it's important as a child, because you just want to play all the time. And then you become an adult. Maybe you haven't quite done well, and then you realize this was why. That's what I mean. Because you didn't do it then, I mean you can't do it now. We're still going through, and we're going to keep going until we arrive at our destination. Sometimes we might need to take a nap to feel replenished. Have a drink. Have a coffee. Let your head down. As long as you don't give up. Think about giving up sometimes. Of course, it's all part of it. The challenge. We're not only challenged physically, but we're challenged mentally. But when we think about giving up, then think about what happens if you don't give up and you actually make it to the very end. What the possibilities are. Now this is it. We've got to compare both of them. The pros and the cons of giving up versus not giving up. I want to believe that you setting the goal in the first place definitely outweighs giving up. We've got this. Make sure you have a good night's sleep. Until next time. See you soon.